Hi Pam, welcome. We're just going to give it a few minutes to see if anybody else would like to join this call before I get started. So thank you so much for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. Is there anything I need to prepare here?
No, my darling, if you want to take notes, that's fine. But I'm just here to talk about general administration, but hopefully in a sexy way. So it'll be interesting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So yeah, just sit tight. We'll see if anyone wants to join. I expect more people will be coming. And yeah, grab a drink, grab a pen, whatever you need to do.
Okay, great.
All right, sweetie. Okay, so we are at the start of this recording. I'm just going to click pause to see if any more people want to join on before we get started. So we'll come back in just a second. So, hi guys. I've just put this call together so last minute, very last minute, to just kind of like talk about the General Administrator Workshop. Normally I do webinars for these things actually, but I decided that for this one, because it's a general admin one, it was really like, it's the only workshop. So, okay, I'm going to rewind. So I've been doing these workshops now for several months. There's nine, can't count, workshops in total, which I'm doing, all based on the roles within inside the one sourcing team. Okay, so first thing, so far, so there's 9 workshops. So far I've done 5 workshops, but this workshop for this particular role was one of those ones. Megan says I look glamorous. Really? You're a darling. I'm wearing a hoodie and I look glamorous. Marry me. Okay, so okay, so I'm doing 9 workshops and I've done 5 so far. So the ones we've done so far, if I can remember off the top of my head, is graphic designer, website developer, personal assistant, which is the one we've just done. I can't even remember the other ones. We've done 5. This is the 5th one. Okay. So, customer support. That was the other one. So what we've done is we've done these workshops, but with the general admin one, it was really strange for me because it was like for general admin, it's the most really pertinent to just the overall virtual assistant. But I also didn't want to take away from the other workshops that I was doing in terms of defining those roles. So for me, it was like with general admin or general virtual assistants, I didn't want to kind of merge and integrate and spill over into any of the other really dedicated workshops, which went into very specific things relating to that role. So I thought to myself, with the general administrator workshop, it's going to be structured the same but slightly different, but it's going to be just like a real extension on the personal assistant workshop that we've just done. So for those of you like Lauren, for example, who've attended the personal assistant workshop, it's going to be more of like how to extend that role into general admin, even though you can do the general admin role yourself on its own as just general admin role. It's going to be a little bit more bitty and piecemeal than all of the other workshops I'm putting together, which have very clearly defined skills and how you put them together, and then how you offer them, and then how you create the one-step start documents for them. And I'll explain that in a second for those of you who don't know, and then how you move forward and you kind of end that. So this call is basically to explain how the general administrator workshop is going to work, and then to answer any questions. And then obviously I'm going to give you a link if you want to jump on board. So we've just done personal assistant. Now, personal assistant workshop was really based on email inbox management. It was based on calendar management, and it was based on travel bookings and arrangements and accommodation and reservations and things like that. So it was really about an all-encompassing kind of like dedicated service to the movement and the support of that one individual, that one particular client. But because personal assistants as a defined role is kind of like very isolated and very boxed in, this is where I wanted to add general admin to really expand out and go into more of the virtual assistant field of what is commonly known as a virtual assistant. And what is commonly known as a virtual assistant is kind of like a jack of all trades, you know, like does a bit of everything, you know, whether it's a bit of social media or a bit of graphic stuff, or, you know, just a little bit of everything thrown in. So how I'm going to structure the general administrator workshop is kind of like piecing together all kinds of bits and pieces and things that you can do in a general sense that people need and they want, but doesn't really come under any proper defined role. Or if they want these things and they don't want to pay, I guess, or hire the actual person that does them, the graphic designer or the website developer or this, that, and the other, they can hire a general admin and get all the basic needs met. So this is what the general admin is. And funny enough, I was talking earlier to a friend about this, and they were saying like, oh, a general admin, it's like so boring, you know, sadly, but it's really not. And in fact, I think this is probably one of the most interesting roles because it's not specifically defined. It's not like a specific, this is what general admin is, because it's general admin. So you can dress it up how you want to dress it up. You can make it what you want to make it. You have a lot of options to choose from. It's like having this massive, great big wardrobe of clothes and then deciding to put outfits together and what goes with this and how, like what matches with this and how do you want to do this. So for me, it's like, yeah, okay, general admin sounds boring, but it doesn't have to be. So my job in this workshop is to make it a little bit sexy, I guess, towards Pam about making it a little bit sexy, and also like being able to pitch it as a standalone service, but also as an extension to the personal assistant workshop that we just entered into. Pam says, is there a way to get the recordings for the previous workshops? The previous workshops are all paid workshops. So they are basically, so I'm going to explain this to you now, Pam, so you know how this works. So 9 workshops, all about the defining roles within one sourcing, whether it's relating to admin, marketing, or creative services. Each workshop is over 4 weeks. So you have week 1, and week 1, we cover the skills that you need. So we cover tutorial videos, we cover the specifics of how you do things, how you're going to put that service together, how you're going to interact, how you're going to actually create that service for the client and produce that work. So it's all about learning the systems, the tools, the things that you need, how to do them, that type of thing. So that's what we cover generally in week 1. And I usually put a tutorial video together, giving you some skills that you can actually go ahead and start using straight away to be able to offer the service. Now, what I didn't want to do with these workshops is go into too many complicated things. I wanted them to be something that anybody without any particular experience could probably come, look at, jump into, watch, and then say, okay, yes, I can give this a go. I can give this a go and I can start seeing where it's going to take me. So with week 1, usually the videos they go into like an hour. I think some of the week 1 videos are going into like an hour and a half of just pure skills training. So it's all about the tutorial videos of where you click, where you go, how it works, that type of thing. And that's what we cover in week 1 of every workshop. In week 2 of every workshop for every role, we go into the packages and the pricing and then the pre-client management expectations, which are so important always. So what we look at is what options you can offer the client in terms of packages based on the skills that you've learned in week 1, and how you put together the pricing for those packages, how you offer those packages, and also how you manage the expectations for the client within those packages. So that's kind of like really putting together the basis and the foundation before you sell your skill or your service. Okay, so week 1 is about the service and the skill. You cover that. Week 2 is about everything that you need to set up before you actually move forward with the client, to show the client, whether you're on a consultation, whether you're meeting them in person, whether you meet them on social media even, to have those things clearly defined and outlined. So there is no room for misunderstanding, for error, for anything like that. It's all clear on the table. Then week 3 of the workshops, we go into what I call, this is like a made up name. If you go and look for it somewhere else, you won't find it, but it's what I call a one-step start document. So what this is, and because I've worked with so many clients, and this is so true, is that when you start working with a client, if you don't have a really clearly defined, this is what I need to know from you, and this is what you have to give me now before I can start, then things can totally drag. They can drag and drag and drag. You can go back, oh, I've missed this, I forgot this, sorry, you didn't mention this, or you never told me about that, and now I've done this, and that's caused a problem. Literally, it can go on like that forever. And then there's frustration, and then the client's upset, and then you're upset, and then everything just really goes bad. So what we do with the one-step start documents is we outline everything, every detail, every question, every possible scenario or thing or circumstance or detail or piece of information or knowledge or anything or question that you could need from the client in order to start the service, to actually begin implementing the service. And what we do also in this case is we get the client to then respond back to us. So we get the client also to take accountability for what they're doing in this relationship. So a lot of the clients I've worked with, I've seen it a lot, not all of them obviously, but when you've worked with as many clients as I have, you see the patterns and the behavioral patterns in them depending on who they are. So there is a lot of behavioral patterns in clients where they don't want to take any responsibility, and they want to put the entire responsibility of any mistake, any mishap, anything that you potentially did wrong, even if you never even knew about whether you were doing something wrong or not, or whether you should be doing that or not. They like to kind of place the blame on you. And when they place the blame on you, that doesn't only make you feel bad, but it also comes to the point where they are starting to say, well, you made that mistake, and why am I paying for that mistake? You shouldn't charge me for that. When in actual fact, it's like, hello, you never even mentioned this to me, so how would I know it's a mistake? So again, it's like and I talk about this a lot in my workshops about this insurance policy. We always need this insurance policy with clients where we take ownership of what we're doing. We take the lead and we say to the client, you know what? I'm going to imagine this client completely ignorant. I'm going to imagine this client knows absolutely not a stitch about working online and about understanding what they're even hiring me for. And then when we approach the client at that point, then we start to get really super clear, because we know at that point things can go wrong. So week 3 is about the one-step start document, where we say to the client, you know what? I'm going to take control over this. I'm going to ask you every single question that I need to know. If you don't answer, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to make you answer me. And this is a really good thing, because when they do that, they are taking responsibility for answering those questions. If they come back and say something like, I don't know, or I haven't done that yet, or I'm not sure about that, they can never come back and blame you for anything, because they've already said themselves like, yeah, I didn't communicate that properly to you or something like that. So this is why we do the one-step start. And week 3 is really all about that. It's insurance policy for you. It gives peace of mind to the client. And it also gives you everything that you need to get started, which retains profitability in a service business. Because the one big problem with any service business, and it's an ongoing problem, and it will always be a problem, I think, unless people know how to manage it, is making sure that the business remains profitable. It's not like you sell a digital product that you make once and then you just keep churning it out and selling it. That's profitable business because you make it and then you keep selling it. But with a service business, it can very easily become very unprofitable. And that's when service businesses fold, when they haven't considered or factored in a lot of the things that are pretty much unknown at the beginning of the service business. So I don't want that to happen to you, any of you. So this is why we do the one-step start documents, because it's an insurance policy. It's like the client can't ever come back to you and say, you made a mistake and I don't want to pay you for that. Because you can go back and say, okay, well, this is exactly what we agreed upon. These are your words. These are my questions. This is what you told me. And this is exactly what I did in line with that. It's like you're backing them into a corner and there's nowhere for them to run. And I'm sorry if this sounds like really kind of like negative and defensive. It really isn't. It's just simply a case of covering your own back and making sure the client fully understands that it is also their responsibility to work with you. It's also their responsibility to give you the right information. It's their responsibility to communicate with you. So that's what we cover in week 3 for that specific skill. Then in week 4, we cover everything to do with finishing off that one-step start document and saying, okay, I have everything I need. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. It's about confirmation. It's about saying, yes, you've told me this and I'm doing this. You said this and I'm doing this. And then we get the confirmation. Do you confirm with me that all of this information is accurate? And once you get that written confirmation, believe me, the client has got nothing on you if they ever want to mess around or try to put responsibility or blame on you or something like that. So that's what we're saying. And it's not just about that, but really, actually, this is the primary part of it, because you just can't trust anyone. No matter how friendly a client is in a consultation, no matter how good they are with you, no matter how together in their mind they seem, no matter how friendly they seem, no matter how savvy they seem, you actually cannot trust that. I've trusted that before with many, many people, and I've been proved so wrong so many times, like after the fact of working with them. Like, you absolutely have no clue what you're doing. So really sorry to say that, but this is why this is all in place right now. These are why these workshops are in place right now, because I don't want you to go through those same experiences. And believe me, when you start doing these processes that I teach in these workshops and going through these patterns that I teach and this flow of how it occurs, it really will absolutely limit the issues that can potentially occur from what you're doing with them. And then in week 4, it's like how you close off that initial one-step start and basically say, I'm moving forward based on everything that you've told me, everything you want, everything that we've agreed mutually. And this is how I've done it, and this is how I've set it up, and this is how we're moving forward. Depending on the workshop, it varies, obviously, and the role. And then it's also about the retainership of that client and how you then keep rolling forward. So if it's a project-based service, like, for example, website development, then generally you take it, you build the website, however I've taught it in the workshop, you send it back to the client, it's all done, and then you close the project and you move on to the next one. That works really well. But in the case of something like personal assistance or customer support, it's an ongoing thing. So what you want to do is ensure that you communicate with the client effectively to retain those ongoing services. And then that's what week 4 is generally all about. So I hope that helps explain it a little bit, Pam. And the recordings of all the previous workshops are available inside the members area, but all those 4-week workshops, they're paid workshops. We've done a lot of free webinars. So I could probably get the links to you, Pam. Do you want to, I don't know if you feel comfortable about giving me your email address in the chat. If you don't, then what you can do is email support@virtualmissfriday.com, and then I can send you all the free webinars that we've done on the run up to those workshops as well, if you wanted to. Oh, lovely, thank you. I'm gonna take that now. You gave me your email address. And I'm just going to make a note of it before I lose it. Okay, perfect. So what I'll do, Pam, for you is I'll make sure that somebody on my team sends you all of the previous recordings of all the workshops, so you can watch those if you want to, and then any information on going in and accessing the actual things themselves. And just so you know as well, week 1 is really all about tutorial videos and instructions and things like that. So you'll find that inside week 1. But week 2, 3, and 4, they're all templates. They're all templated information that you literally make a copy of and then customize to your own business. So it's really very much a done for you kind of thing. Lauren says the one-step start doc is so useful, especially when first starting out. I didn't know what info I needed to get from my first client, and it was messy. Yeah, really, I went through that too. It's like, it's so messy. If you don't like, what you have to do is really think about the service that you're offering and think about every single detail. But the problem is you don't think about every single detail until you've done it once or twice or 3 times, and that's how it works. So once you're at the point where you've serviced more than 100 clients in one area, you pretty much have covered every single one of those details. And that's what I wanted to do with these workshops. I wanted to put in there all those really pertinent things, not going into the really pedantic things that are only relating to like one client in 4 million, but just really a majority of the things that you need to do in order to get all the information that you need from those clients that you're going to be servicing for that one particular skill. And I'm really big on boundaries. Anybody who takes any of my training knows that. I'm really big on boundaries. I like flexibility for sure, but I like flexibility within the VA role to be like a privilege, or to be like a gift, or, something that's a little bit special. So a lot of clients will want to take advantage of that, and they will want to sort of push you and say, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? And it's completely not in there. And, oh, I know I used up my hours, but there's just one thing, it's like 15 minutes. Could you do that? So I don't want that to happen to you, because when that happens to you, it's not a good situation, because the client will start to think, oh, I'm special, I've got a little bit of flexibility, she won't charge me for that, or she'll do, and then it kind of spills over, and then before you know it, it's like you've not maintained control of that. The thing about virtual assistants, for me anyway, as a role, as a kind of service, as starting a business, particularly when I started, I was so desperate to get clients that I would pretty much agree to anything that they wanted. And that actually was really to my detriment, because when I did that, it was so much stress that it just simply wasn't worth it in the end. Yeah, for sure, I made a lot of money, and I was able to get a lot of referrals, and my business kind of escalated that way, but it escalated really in a very bad way. So if you start building your business from a place of, I'm desperate and I'll do anything to get this client, and I'm going to do anything to please them so they recommend me and things like that, really it's a whole world of stress. So what I want to do is, with these workshops, I don't want to take away from that feeling of I want to give to the client as much as possible. But what I want to do is to make sure that you don't take away anything from yourself while you're giving, like your sanity or your personal time or your freedom or your flexibility or anything like that. I want to do this in a way, or in such a way, that the client gets what they want, but you also get what you want. And there is no room for misunderstanding about authority in the relationship or hierarchy in the relationship. You are a mutual partnership, and there are some things that the virtual assistant, you will need to take control of, and you will need to show that you're taking control of. And there are some things that you sit back a little bit and then you say, okay, I'm going to let you take control of this, and you tell me what you need, but on my terms. Then I will do it on my terms. I'll give you what you need on my terms. And that's basically kind of how I put together generally all my training. So I hope this is, Laura says, do you cover offboarding clients in any of the workshops? Actually, I don't cover offboarding clients in any of the workshops. I've got a few blog posts that I've done on offboarding. Megan says that's a great idea. So do we actually need something about offboarding clients? Like okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna make a note of that while we're here. So sorry, like going off on a tangent here, but what do you mean by offboarding clients? Like how to sack a client? Or if a client comes to you and says they don't want to work with you anymore, how to end that? Yeah. So if a client comes to you and says they don't want to work with you anymore, how to remove that client from your business? Okay.
Yeah. So if you've got a client where you've both decided that, you know, either the project is done that you are working on for them, or for whatever reason you're not going to be working together anymore, how to remove them from your business, but also do it in a way that's respectful and not just, I don't want to work with you anymore.
Yeah.
And making sure that like all of the passwords are properly removed and that sort of thing, so that you're both
So it's
covered for liability.
like, it's almost like a one-step start document for removing that client. So it's quick and easy, and it's done and it's over with. And yeah, that is actually a really good suggestion, Lauren. Megan's nodding as well. She says it's a great idea. How about professionally giving bad ones a finger? Megan, was it? I would. Let's just be real here. For sure, I've given several clients a finger, in a very polite way. So yeah. So yeah, definitely. I think that is an awesome idea. I never considered doing a workshop on offboarding. Actually, I think maybe that would be so beneficial to make that a free workshop for everybody. Because it's that is absolutely an essential thing for people. Sorry, Pam. I mean, like, I don't want to put you off or anything. Pam's like, yes. Okay. I like that idea. I love that idea. I've done lots of articles on offboarding in the past, particularly when people have come to me kind of like, I don't want to sound like so sinister, but when they've actually had to close their business because of some physical incapability or a sickness, or they just can't manage it anymore, or financially they need to leave their business and they need to go into something else, full-time employment or something like that. People have asked me, like, I don't know how to break this news to my clients, or I don't know how to move forward like this, because you don't, it's a really sensitive subject. It's so sensitive subject, from both sides, and you don't want it to turn nasty, and you want absolutely what Lauren said about being respectful, but not just respectful as a client, but hopefully they're respectful to you as well. So I think that's a great idea, and I'm definitely going to think about putting something together, whether it's a webinar that we can just kind of like do all in one go, where we can like cover the offboarding one-step start document or something like that. But I think that's a fantastic idea. So thank you for bringing that to the table. Perfect. Okay, so basically that's the 4 weeks of what you're gonna go through in the workshop. All the workshops are exactly the same. I don't deviate from that. It's just the skills that we deviate from, and then how we kind of put it together and go through the process. But the general idea with all these workshops is you can use them independently, or you can put them together as a whole and have this kind of boutique, I can manage a client solo operations management service, because none of these things are rocket science. I have such deep respect for people who go deep inside their skill and their role within a one sourcing team, or within a virtual team, or as a freelancer. You know, if somebody is so incredibly skilled in graphic design, I have such deep respect for the people who get deeper and deeper and deeper into that, teach themselves more and more, learn more and more, get better and better and better. I love it. Same for website development, same for marketing. I absolutely love it. Same for personal assistants. Every role has the capacity to go deep into, I'm going to own this. And when you do that, you not only open yourself to a really good freelancer position as that role, but you also open yourself to a really good opportunity to work on a team within that role as well. But with general admin, it's not so black and white like that. It's not so like general admin is a defined thing which you can go into and explore, and there's a specific set of systems for it or tools for it. It's much more of a varied, all-round kind of jack of all trades kind of thing. So with this workshop, we're going to have to be really, really careful I can't actually really clearly define general admin, but I can give you a lot of information on things that you can potentially do for a client that comes under a more sort of general virtual assistant role, that you can offer as a kind of like, I do a lot of stuff and I'm skilled in a lot of things, and you pick and choose what you want to do. And again, you know, like with Megan, we were talking on the end of the last workshop about this issue that's going on in America right now, where you can't really clearly define what you're doing and how many hours you're doing it for and things like that. Lauren's also shaking her head. She was there too. But, you know, and I'm going to have to keep my awareness of that, I guess, in the general admin role. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to create a workshop, which is a really good foundation for general admin, to give you a lot of different bits and pieces that you can piece together like a puzzle, and then kind of come out at the end with still a one-step start document, which is a challenge in this area, but we're still going to do it. And then be able to kind of offer that on its own, or really as a supplement and an extension to personal assistance. And I really think it should be an extension to personal assistance. So for me, you can take general admin on its own, or you can do the personal assistance with the general admin. And I wanted to give you guys 2 links if you're not already part of the workshops or anything like that, to get these half price. So usually what I do is I sell all my workshops at $497 individually on their own as isolated workshops. And that includes all the tutorials, all the live classroom replays, all the videos, all the transcriptions. It also includes all the notes and the customizable templates that you can copy and customize to yourself. So it's pretty comprehensive, even though it's only a 4-week course. But it's literally everything you need to just kind of take that course over 4 weeks. It's not like one of these big long drawn out things where it's going to take you ages to learn. You can take it and you can literally start offering it straight away. So this is more like takeaway business, rather than kind of like I'm gonna, you know, sit here and study and put myself into this and learn everything. No, it's takeaway business. It's quick, it's fast, it's relatively easy, and you can start implementing it and start going through and working on things right now. So I'm going to give you a couple of links. So the first link is just for the General Administrator Skillegy workshop. Okay. Skillegy workshop. So this is going in the chat right now. So there is the link for that, and it's half price right now because it's not created. I'm going to teach it live. So as with all these things, with the first initial workshops, I teach them live with a classroom. And then at the end, I do summary recordings of all the videos of what I taught, and then I put them together in a package. But I'm also, because the general administrator for me really, really is an extension of the personal assistant, and I also incorporated that into the personal assistant workshop, I also wanted to offer you the opportunity to get the personal assistant workshop and the general administrator workshop together, combined as a package. So this is the general admin and personal assistant. So if you want to like immediately get started and you've not already got it, obviously, then you can take that link, go on to like, go through the payment process and everything, go on to the personal assistant workshop, and then you can join the general admin one live. And then you've got a really good all-encompassing VA service right there. Probably just only with those 2 workshops. And then again, if you wanted to go into customer support specifically, or add that on, or add on graphic design, or add on boutique website design, you can do all of those things as well. So there's a lot of different combinations and options that you can do. But those are the 2 that we're discussing right now. So we've covered a lot in this. I wanted to ask you guys, do you have any questions about offering general administration to clients, how you put that together? Obviously, we're going to cover a lot in the workshop. Do you have any questions about what you're going to be learning? That type of thing, because I'm here for you right now if you need anything. Da, 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 da. Actually, I do, says Megan. Okay. I love it when Megan comes on these calls. And it's purely because I can't remember. Okay, sure. What do you mean you can't remember? Was it something I said? Why you can't remember? Or waiting anticipation. In the customer support workshop, I think you focused on Zendesk as a platform. Yes, I did. I focused on Zendesk, but with that, you know, a lot of the platforms or the customer service systems have pretty much the same elements to it, so you can easily translate probably into another system. Did you also discuss using G Suite on its own and a strategy? No, I didn't. I discussed using Google app. I keep calling it Google Apps. It's G Suite. It really is G Suite. It's like, I can't get over calling it. For those of you who don't know, back in the day, in the far away, long ago, G Suite was called Google Apps. And when I started as a VA, it was called Google Apps, and I simply cannot get that out of my head. So if I say Google Apps, I actually mean G Suite, what it is today. But we did G Suite in personal assistant workshop for email inbox management. This is interesting. Let's talk about this. Yeah, it was in the PA workshop, but you do have a course for email Rockstar, right? So you actually teach a course. So
yes, actually I've been saying this for a while, which is why I don't do annual updates and commit to that, because things happen, but I've been planning on doing an update to the course because it's been a little bit now since I've updated it. So, but yes, it's the thought behind that course was basically coming in, working in somebody's email that's already existing, that's like a hot mess, getting rid of the junk, figuring out how to sort it to make it efficient. And then from there, then it's kind of a matter of maintenance. So, but yes, I do.
okay.
It's more,
Do you want to put the link in here? Because maybe Pam,
I said that course is more about like kind of reining it in and getting things under control when you first step into something.
But that's really complementary to the personal assistant workshop.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you could add a link into the chat, because maybe people here might find it useful. So for anybody watching the replay or anybody here right now, Megan works with me. We've worked together for a long time in VMF, but she's also doing a lot of her own stuff, and she's very clever and very talented, and she has her own courses and is doing things. So she has this course on email inbox management, and I'm totally happy to recommend it for anybody who's interested in that. Wants to go ahead. And like, why are you laughing? It's not funny.
Oh, I thought I had it. I was like, oh, thank you.
Oh, like it
I
was
thought
like,
I had muted myself. So here I'm like, talking to myself. Oh my god.
no, it's totally true. Megan's a rock star, and she's got this program called Email Rockstar. So if you are, and she covers a lot of things that I don't cover in this program as well. So it would be really good for you to also take a look at that. So Megan, if you want to drop that link in, you're absolutely more than welcome to.
Yes, just pulling it
yeah.
up. I had switched platforms recently, so I just wanted to make sure I got the right link for everyone.
Okay, no problem. Take your time. Cool. But yeah, so for me, when we're talking about customer support and personal assistance, email inbox management, it's really completely different. And I'm going to say something right now about this, because I just feel we need to end on this note, like sharing an experience. I have a very influential friend in the space of email inbox management. Very close friend who I've done some work with, and I took his training, and like for many years ago, I like met him in, I think it was like 2010. And he's made this incredible service, which is really dedicated to email inbox management. And I consulted with him a little bit about this service. He came to me and he asked me questions and picked my brains. And he created this service. And I've also recommended VAs for him as well, who have taken my training, because he often comes to me when he wants someone and says, I need a VA, who can you recommend people to me? So he has this service absolutely 100% completely dedicated to email management. So I was kind of curious. So I decided that I was going to test out the service. And it was really interesting because we sent not test out the service as a client, but test out how people responded from that service. So it's not like I went and said, I'm going to become a client. I emailed somebody who was working on his team, who was managing the email inboxes. Or my team did, actually. It wasn't me, because that would have been a bit obvious. And it was really interesting because like we sent this email, and then like literally after a couple of days, an email came back. 2 days. No, sorry, that's unacceptable. Then we replied back. 5 days later, still nothing. So we get this email. So we go back and say, hello, did anyone see this email? Suddenly, like 2 days later, we get a response. After 2 days. Then after that, 5 more days, nothing. So if I'm going to share any kind of tip with you, if you're going to go into any kind of customer support, email management, inbox management, anything that is working with people's emails, I swear you need to always immediately, within 24 hours, simply write back to that person and say, I've seen your email. That's all you need to do to take your service from here to here. It's all you need to do. Thank you so much for your email. I've seen it. This is what I'm doing with it. You don't leave it sat there for 5 days while you go and have a cup of tea and go on holiday and then come back to it. No, it's, and this is so, even if it's an autoresponder, it's like, and I say to people always in my customer support, when dealing with my emails, when dealing with my own emails and things like that, I forward it to people and I say, just tell the people that we've got this email. It's simply, it's so impactful. And I didn't realize how impactful this was until I received what I thought was going to be impeccable email management to just sit there for 5 days going, watching the tumbleweeds roll over the screen. It was incredible to experience that. So what I'm going to say to you, let's give this like final tip of, like, what can you take away from this? If you're doing any kind of email management, customer support, inbox management, ever, always when an email comes in, check within 24 hours. And if you look at it and you think, God, I don't know how to deal with this, write back and tell that person, I'm escalating it. Hi, I've got your email. Thank you so much. Just to let you know, I'm on it. I'm dealing with this. It may take me a little while. I have to go and ask someone. I have to go and do this, but I care about you and I've seen your email and I've got it. Nobody in customer support, in email inbox management, in anything should ever have to go back after 5 days and say, hello. No, nobody should ever have to do that. They shouldn't even have to do that after 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever it is, business hours, let's call it. So I just want to say, this email management service as well starts at a minimum like $1,000 a month. And for a minimum $1,000, yeah, I know, I see your face, Lauren. For a minimum $1,000 a month, I would absolutely expect every single email I sent to be answered within 24 hours, not necessarily with the full response of I fixed it or I've done it, but just to say, I hear you, I've seen it, I'm on it. Thank you. You know, it's really that simple. So if you really absolutely want to set yourself apart from anyone else, you want to get great feedback, oh my God, she's so responsive, she's so on the ball, that's what you got to do. Pam says she does that frequently. That's awesome. Megan says, even if it's an autoresponder, same got your email. Yeah, even if it's an autoresponder. It's so important. See, with things like Gmail, the only autoresponder you've got is the holiday message, which, you know, it's like using an autoresponder, but not for the purpose of using an autoresponder. It's like kind of fudging it a little bit. So if you're going to use Gmail, make sure that you, as a PA or a general admin or customer support or whatever it is, every single email that comes in, whether you can answer it or not, like the actual question, you still got to answer it. You still got to say, hi, thank you so much for emailing. I've got your email and I'm taking this action right now and I'm going to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Just do that. That is the key, the secret to really good customer support, which people talk about. Because, you know, I've had it happen before with like companies that you order from or you do mail order from, or, you know, like, you know, and it's like, hello, is anyone there? It's like, and it can get really frustrating. But what really sets things apart is when you respond and you're responsive. And it doesn't matter whether you have actually addressed anything in the email at all. Okay, if you look at that email and go, oh my God, this is mind-boggling, it's so long and I don't know what to do and I don't know what to say, for sure you're going to have a process in place for escalation or doing something. Tell them that's what you're doing. Say, hi, I've got your email. In actual fact, to be honest with you, I'm not sure exactly the response or exactly the answer, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this and this and this, and we're going to get this done. So it's just a courtesy. Anyway, we are at the top of the hour. Lauren says, especially when your only contact is via email, getting no response makes me wonder if there's something fraudulent going on. Absolutely. It does. It's like, is this like a black hole that I've just emailed? Like one of those spam email boxes that never gets responded to and never answered? Because like literally 5 days is too long. You can't do that in a service. Anyway, I went off on a tangent there, but I felt that it was important to note on this call. So anyway, guys, do you have any more questions? So I think we're going to wrap this up. I just want to see the time here. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody, anything wants to add? If not, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to call it a day. You've got the links in there if you want to join. Really happy to see you. Hopefully we'll see you there, Lauren, Megan, Pam. Hopefully you'll join too. That'd be lovely to see you on there. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, always email support@virtualmissfriday.com. Either myself or my team will respond to you. with anything that you have or ask, or any issues that you're having. Happy to help. So thank you so much for this call, guys. She promises. I always promise. I do. You will get a response within 24 hours, Monday to Friday. But actually, to be fair, we do actually work weekends, so you'll probably get a response on the weekend as well. But don't expect it. We're going the extra mile if you get a response on Saturday or Sunday. Just remember that. Okay, guys. Love you lots. Take care, and please do join me on the general admin. It's going to be epic. I'm going to make it really interesting and fun, because this is one I can play around with. It's actually the only one I can really sort of play around with a little bit, because it's just so random, really. But it's going to be good. So thank you so much, guys, and I will see you hopefully on the workshop, and if not, next time. So take care. Bye.